Hello and welcome to another episode of The Social Connection. I am your host, Luis Mendieta, and today we have Angela Samuels with Visionary Meetings. Welcome, Angela. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Well, what is Visionary Meetings?
Visionary Meetings is a shared office space in West Bloomfield. It's a home for the entrepreneurs. We have offices that we rent out. We have classes there. We have meetups. We have all sorts of things to encourage the entrepreneur in their path to success.
Excellent. Now, how all this has started? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Actually, it's a new startup. We just started last year in December. And we went through the winter and everything's been great. We've had a lot of activities. We've just had our first Expo and we're going to have more in the future. We are starting to have different mastermind groups for entrepreneurs. We also have classes that we have there, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, that I mostly do online and a lot of times in the office.
So who is Angela Samuels? How did you thought about doing what you're doing, and where do you acquire all this good stuff about technology, things that you talk about?
Well, it actually started when I was younger.
Okay.
I first got my first computer when I was probably like 14, 15, and that's when the Tandy was out. And in order to play a video game, you had to create the code.
Mm-hmm.
So just a basic computer program just allowed me to, want to go into technology more. And so my background is I have my bachelor's in computer science. And then I went on after my bachelor's to get my master's degree in instructional design, focusing on corporate training. And so I've always wanted to teach. I've always wanted to help people kind of figure out technology because for whatever reason, when I was young, I've always had that knack for technology. And so I wanted to have my own space. I worked at different universities around the area. And I just wanted to have my own space so I can teach classes there, but also open it up to entrepreneurs where they would have a place, a home where they can do seminars, webinars, different meetings and meetups and stuff like that.
Where did you get inspired? Or who inspires you to do what you do every day?
Wow, that's a good question. I always think about my mom. She's sort of like my cheerleader. Even though she's no longer here, I still feel her presence that she's my cheerleader, and so she inspires me. My family, because of course I want the best for my family, and I want to love what I want to, I love what I do, and so that's my purpose in life is to teach. That's why I feel like that's my purpose here is to teach people who may not grasp technology as easy as I do. So my family, they're my cheerleader as well. My husband, my two kids, they all root for me. Good.
Now, tell me about your failures. What kind of failures have you had in starting this kind of business? That you kind of disappointments and then you go, oh, but then something comes out of that.
Wow, I've learned a lot because this is my first place that I actually have a location, like a brick and mortar. So there's a lot of things that I thought I had on right, and I thought, you read the blogs and you read the books and everything, and you just don't learn until you get in there. And that's one thing I've learned, that you get in there and then you kind of do adjustments and stuff like that. Because what I imagined 3 years ago when I first started doing research is not what I've seen now. Mm-hmm. So you start with something and then you just adjust and then you just get ideas. I've gotten a lot of ideas, a lot of input from entrepreneurs and my customers that I can improve my business, and so that helps me. But with failing, I've had a lot of failures and I probably will continuously have failures. But I just get up and I just continue to go and find my purpose and that path. You just go back to the path. Like, okay, I'm gonna try this and I'm gonna try different things. But that's how I'm different too. Is I just keep trying because I'm like, there's got to be a way that you can go around this or get new ideas from.
Good. Tell me about an aha moment, a moment that you feel like, hooray, I done it. It's good. This is great.
That's when I opened up Visionary Meetings.
Yeah.
Like I said, it opened in December, but in November, that's when I signed my lease. And I stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning at the space, getting it ready and stuff like that. And In December, when I was just about to open, that was the aha, like, oh my goodness, I have my own business. It's so surreal. It's something that I just can't imagine that I would be doing. I've dreamed of it, but having it in reality was something else.
Good. That's great. That's great. Now, tell me, what have you been doing on your business and visionary meetings? What kind of stuff have you done there that you can let everybody know about the things that you do there?
Sure. We have classes. I have classes on a regular basis, or we have other professionals that come in and do classes. I have another entrepreneur. She does, her specialty is branding, so she's coming in and doing classes. I have people who do like a restaurant training, restaurant customer service training. We have their talent. Oh, we also have a gentleman that just came to us a couple months ago, and he does the Dave Ramsey program there.
Oh.
And his whole life, I talked to a couple of his friends, and they're like, that's his whole life, and he's always wanting to teach. And so he's done his first class, and he's going to continue to do more classes.
Well, that's good. That's good. In the past, I noticed that you also did an expo there or something like that. You
Yes.
were mentioning earlier. What kind of expos have you done there?
Well, we've had our first annual Visionary Expo, and it was consisted of several different vendors. And a lot of the vendors are home-based businesses that they don't have their own location, so this is perfect for them, so they can go out, and it was on a weekend, I was on a Saturday, and they can go out and they can network with other entrepreneurs or other business owners, and also possibly get the message out from their programs.
All right. So how visionary meetings works? So if anybody wants to go to there, how it works?
Oh, well, first, it's available for, well, the rentals are available if you call us or you email us, and we can arrange a time to take a tour or rent the facilities. We have lots of different events. I have a newsletter that goes out every week, and it lists all the things that we do. And I also do little tidbits of social media tips that can help somebody who needs a little help with social media or any technology needs. And then they can always call me. I'm in the office in and out, so I'm not there on a regular basis. But that's how they can reach me, or via our website. They can go visionarymeetings.com and look and see what kind of services that we provide. We have bi-weekly meetings. We have Visionary Professional Network, which is a discount program for members who gets a discount on the conference rooms and also the different events that we have that has different entrepreneurs. They're great networking events that they can go to.
Okay. So how do you do your marketing, I guess, for your company? Who do you talk to, or how do you get connected to the people so they get to know what you have? What kind of venues do you use or ways?
Well, I've tried, because I'm a startup and there's not a lot of places like mine. I have to be creative, and you have to test a lot of things. Of course, I went to the different Chamber of Commerces that I do networking event through, and then I do print. There's a couple people that I have deliver flyers to the local neighborhoods, and I do like a newspaper advertisements, pizza toppers, and I think the one that definitely brings returns is the one-on-one networking events. When I go out and I network with other groups, that helps a lot too. Or when I have networking groups at my space, and also online, meetup.com, we have a group there, and there's over 200-300 members on that group. So a lot of my events, I put them on there. Or Eventbrite is a good one. Facebook. Since I do social media teaching, I do a lot of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn advertising as well.
You do any webinars, anything like that too?
Yes, I do also do online training. For whatever I teach in the space, I also do online as well. So the person doesn't have to be in West Bloomfield, Michigan. They can be anywhere, and you can share my screen, and I can teach them social media.
Okay. Now, would you be able to teach different types of classes? Do you have like a schedule of classes that you teach, or is by the month or whatever during the week that you have or whatever you post? How do you classify your classes? Like you teach in your webinars the content of internet and Facebook, or what kind of classes do you teach?
I teach LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the popular social media sites. I usually teach on that. Because I do it every day. I also do it for a living. I also have clients that I do it for. So I do what I do. I just teach other people, and it helps me with my jobs with other people as well, so that I'm doing it for a profession and I also teach it.
What do most of the people want from you when they have a business that they come to you because you know about technology? What is the first thing that they want to do with their business, like to become more popular? What do they come and tell you?
They want to be shown on Google.
Okay.
Google is like the #1 search engine, and I want to be on the first page of Google. And sometimes they ask me, how long is it going to take? And it just depends, because Google has advertising. I also do Google AdWords advertising, and it's a combination. You have to do the Google AdWords, and also you have to do blogging. You know, it's all about content. Content is king. And so I teach them how to blog as well, so they can attract their customers. I mostly deal with WordPress, and I also teach that class as well. But I always tell them that the only way that people can really find you without knowing you is through Googling or some kind of search engine. And if you don't have anything that's moving, Google really doesn't pay attention to you a lot. They don't like just websites that are just flat and there's no movement. They would like to have some kind of movement, new content. So that's the first thing I do, is I tell them, do you have a blog? And if not, then you should really blog. And if you can't write, then you can pay someone. There's plenty of websites that you can have somebody write blogs for you that you can post even once a week or once every 2 weeks, just as long as Google knows that there's some movement there.
That's right. So you have to continue moving and creating more things, so that way Google will see that you have a great website.
And they'll bring more people to your site.
What kind of seminars are you doing right now in your place?
We have different seminars. We're doing the Mastermind Group right now. I guess you can say that a seminar, but it's really great because we have a great group of entrepreneurs. And it's nothing that you can just come in once in a while. You really have to start at the beginning and kind of work through the whole session. And then we're going to create a super mastermind group, and or a mega mastermind group, where whoever graduates from the first group goes into this group that will be meet on a monthly basis. But it's nothing. It's not about just giving someone your business card and just, okay, this is my business card, this is my business, but it's developing relationships within entrepreneurs, and you get close with them, and you get to share different things about your businesses. And so as weeks progress, you start to become really close to these entrepreneurs, and they tell you the truth. You know, you're open up to ideas about your business, and you do presentations. I do a lot of the presentations as well, but the different people in the group, they do the presentations, so it helps them as well with their presentation skills.
Good. Now, if a company comes to you and they say, well, really, I don't know what I need help with, but my company, we sell a product, but we need to know how can we sell more of a product, and how could the media that is up there can help my company. What will you say to those companies that you will provide? Well, what kind of services do you provide to them?
First, I do an evaluation.
Okay.
First, to see if they have a website. Okay, if they do have a website, what kind of website? Because I think Google is the king of search engines, that's one of the things they like is what, WordPress. But I'm sure they like other websites, but that's one of the websites that they prefer because it has the blogging mechanism in it. And so I asked if they don't have a website, that's fine. We can start them out how to get a website, how to create a website. I teach the WordPress class as well, so I can teach them how to create a website for them, or I can create the website for them as well. So we just start from level 1. Okay, what's your product? What can you offer the customer? What are some things that you love about your product? How can we sell that to the customer? And I don't really like selling. I don't like the word sale. I like educating your customers. It's not about selling. It's about showing the person what your product can do for them.
How long it will take someone to learn, for instance, WordPress? If it's the first time and they don't know anything about WordPress, how long will it take them?
It just really depends. People who are really not in technology, usually we go through the class and they have some questions and stuff like that. But the best advice I can tell people is just keep playing with the technology. Go in there, do some things. That's what I did before when WordPress first came out. You know, I had hosting and I was like, oh wow, this looks cool. So I just installed it into, you know, my server and I just started playing with it. So that's why I tell people, if you already have WordPress installed, just go in there and just do some things and see what you can, you know, figure out.
There is any age limit in order for them to learn?
No, there's no age. I think it's all in the mind.
Yes.
Because if you keep telling yourself, I can't do it, then you won't be able to do it. But if you say, you know, I can conquer this, then you can do this. Because I have customers who are, you know, who are very mature and they still update their website on a regular basis. And a lot of times I don't even have to, you know, assist them because I've taught them and they love going in and they love being able to update their website. Because before you used to go to a web developer and just to change some words. But a lot of small businesses, they don't want to do that. They want hands-on.
All right. So if someone has an idea and want to teach something, they can always go to your place and use your facilities and be able to teach there too if they feel like teaching to a large group of people. How many people can you fit, I guess, in your business? Let's say if somebody wants to rent the place.
Well, we have two conference rooms. Those are for small meetings.
Okay.
Those are up to 12 people each. And they have a projector slide in there, and they have professional desks. And we have one that's more geared toward training, so we have training tables in there. And then we have an executive one that has like a long conference table. So if someone prefers a little bit more formal, we have that. And then we have the large room where we use a lot of the larger meetings, where you can usually if you have tables, the max is like 30 people. Okay. But if you don't have tables, if you just want to have a setup where you're doing a presentation and you're just doing tables, that can go up to 40.
Now, when they're doing something like that, like a seminar, do they have catering, anything like that for you guys there, or what kind of things?
We have some suggested caterers, but they don't have to, you know, go through us through catering, and they can bring in their food if they want. I think that's the best thing about visionary meetings is that they're allowed to bring their own food. Because there's a lot of benefits to that. I know at the restaurants and stuff like that, people order their own food, and you know they can't, you know, take home the leftovers or sometimes. But there, they bring their own food and they can take home the leftovers. You know, I have a regular client that comes in. She comes on a monthly basis. She has 2 different locations, and my location is right in the middle of both of them. And so she has her staff meetings there on a monthly basis, and she loves it because they can bring in the food, and then, you know, and afterwards, you know, they just take it back to the office or whatever. So it's not, you know, it's economical for the small business owner. And so, and we also have a kitchenette there that we have a refrigerator that they can use, you know, and we have coffee, tea available for them. So it's really like having your office away from your office.
Well, that sounds very good. Now, what would you like to see visionary meetings being happening to it, like changing? That you said, this is how I want to see visionary meetings in the future.
That's a good question, because you just don't know. Things change, and you have to change with the market. And so, like I said, what I envisioned it to be, it's changed a little bit, but the goal is the same. I still want it to be a home for entrepreneurs who can't have a space, but we can provide that space for them. And I know a lot of people, they work full time, but they just want to have maybe a seminar, or they want to teach. I know there's a lot of people who are tutors who, you know, they necessarily can't go to their local library or anything like that. Well, they can rent a space from us, the small rooms, and have, you know, a couple of attendees there and tutor them. So there's many uses. I mean, there's a lot of businesses who are getting rid of their buildings, and the workers, they have to work at home. But a lot of times people don't like having just the public or clients come to their home. So I have a lot of customers that come in because they don't want to be at a coffee shop, because sometimes some information you don't want to necessarily have in the public. So this gives them a little bit more privacy. So the people who are going to be using the rooms on a regular basis, I suggest the VPN, Visionary Professional Network, because you have a monthly subscription, but it's a low cost per rental on the hourly rental on the rooms. So I have social workers. I have a lot of people who are working from home. A lot of the companies are now getting rid of the buildings.
Right. So I think it's a great idea because if you work in home but you don't have an office, but you would like to bring somebody and meet someone, and maybe you would like to look professional, you will go to your place and I will show the place. We'll sit down like if it was my office, and we can actually carry a conversation in privacy and make it feel good, you know, having something right in hand whenever you need it.
Right, especially entrepreneurs, like doing a startup. A lot of times you don't want to be in a public coffee house talking about your idea, and you know someone else on behind you could be listening to what you're talking about. So this is a little bit more private, and because the public just doesn't come in, you make an appointment and you rent the space. So I think there's a lot of benefits for small companies and entrepreneurs or startups.
Yeah, I heard it somewhere that they say the best ideas come from one of those places that they have coffee places, and people come and listen to it. They get with their laptops, working on it, and they're listening to everybody's conversation, and boom, another idea came because they were listening to other people. So I think privacy is very, very important, especially if it is your own business and you are starting up, and need to be careful and just be in a privacy place so you can be talking to other people.
Yeah, there is a time and place for that as well, because we've had some really good meetings where, and that's one of our mottos is where visionaries meet, ideas peak. Because when you do get together with other visionaries and / entrepreneurs, you get ideas. I've seen it. I've seen something change in the meetings where like people are just like, wow. I got an idea. So that's one thing too, is like once you get together with other people and you discuss and you're talking about your business and stuff like that, and other people talk about their business, as they're talking, you're getting ideas. And it's amazing the feeling that people leave and it's like, wow, I actually got something out of it. Or when people come to my space and they're like, wow, a lot of times their life is not encouraged to be an entrepreneur. They're encouraged to, just do their job and everything will be fine. But they're like, I always wanted to do this. I wanted always to do that. And we have quotes on our walls to inspire entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think that one of the things that inspires people is just going places like yours where they can not only be with someone, but be able to read things around and feel really inspired of doing something because of the privacy. I think as a privacy has a lot to do with it. And I believe you have a lot of different things that they can use there, right? You were saying you have a projector, you have screens in there, and
we have printers.
And printers and everything that people can use. I think this is great. Now, what would be Angela's day? Like when you wake up in the morning, how is your day when you wake up and get inspired? How do you get inspired every morning?
Oh, wow. Well, I always have to say God gives me inspiration because I know He's got a path somewhere there for me, and I just need to, find it, and I get clues. I'm like, okay, maybe that's not my path. I need to go somewhere else. But I never quit, and that's the thing. That I need to know, why am I here? What's my purpose? And so I'm like, okay, God, what is my purpose? What is that supposed to be today? Or or what what do I want to accomplish today? So when I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm taking the next step on that path. So,
what is your next projects on working with visionary meetings?
Right now, I do a lot of my classes either live online, but I'm recording a lot of my classes online. So a lot of people, a lot of times what I do is the people that come in that take my courses, a lot of times I give them the online course for free. So I'm catching up on that because I've been really busy this summer. So I'm catching up on trying to put all my classes I do at Visionary Meetings online. But I don't want to, because there's a lot of classes online. And that's what makes my space a little bit different and my teaching is that I do it in person. I actually had one lady that I tutored this morning, and she's like, you're the only person that will work with me one-on-one. I can come to your office, or there's sometimes where she can't come to my office, and then I'll go and we'll do online and everything like that. And so she's like, you are so patient and you take your time. And she's like, I can't believe in the last 3 months I've learned so much from you. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my customers. And there's a lot lot of the members or the people that come on a regular basis who believe in the idea, and I appreciate that. That keeps me going as well.
There is any meetup that you feel good about it, what you have in your business that you feel so good about it, and you say, you know, this is I'm doing the right thing?
I think the Mastermind Group,
Yeah.
because I've had other meetings before where you have a meeting here and there, but it goes to a different level. It gets deeper, and so sometimes at first we were opening up to different people, but after a while we're like, you know, do we really want someone new to come in between, like halfway through? And we discussed it within the members, and it wasn't a great thing because you can feel that the closeness within the bond that we have already, and so now we're having it where it's only 8 weeks. The first 8 weeks, you know, you go for the first 8 weeks, and then you take a break, and then we go for the second 8 weeks. But it's really hard to develop that bond, and we encourage one another. We share, you know, our failures. We share how we're feeling about our businesses, because there's really not a whole lot of places that you can share that.
Okay. Well, Angela, tell us, how can we get in touch with you? What ways do you have that we can be in touch with you and the public can get to be in touch with you and see you?
Okay. Well, we have visionarymeetings.com, or email info@visionarymeetings.com, or of course we have we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we have practically all social media covered, so they can pretty much Google us, Visionary Meetings, and we probably have the first 2 pages of Google, so they can definitely find us.
All right. Well, this is excellent. I want to thank you very much for coming to our show.
Thank you.
And Angela, it's a pleasure meeting you and knowing that everybody can help, you know, you, and you can help them by providing with some kind of services like you said before. And for all of you who are at home, thank you for watching The Social Connection. I'm your host, Luis Mendieta, and we'll see you the next time.